Hi, I'm Richard from Beast Consultants. Today we're going to talk about OneNote. Now OneNote's from Microsoft. It's a free app that you can get. It can be loaded onto any device that has Windows on it. You can put OneNote onto. Not only that, you can actually have OneNote shareable between all your devices so that you've always got your notes with you. Well, pretty much you're not going to be a OneNote expert in 30 minutes or an hour, but within an hour you can be actually a fairly good user of OneNote. So what we're going to do is have a look at OneNote. I'll show you a couple of tricks that it can do. We're going to title this series Using OneNote Every Day. So when we open OneNote, we're taken to a place to start. And this is it. So we have a new notebook. We can give it a notebook any name that we would like, something relevant to what we need. And we can just make it a personal one, a business one, whatever you need. And just by clicking on create a notebook. And then also with the new notebook we have several places we can save it. So we can save it just on our PC if we don't want to share a notebook or you have no intention of doing that. You can add a place, so you can add a different storage area if you're using something else. And we can then browse through our files too to save it as just a file. So we're going to save it as in OneDrive, which is up in the cloud, which means we can access it then from any device. So if you want to share it, this is the way to do it. Press create a notebook and it will automatically create for you a new notebook. This opportunity here, we can invite somebody. We're going to say not now because we're new users, and we have a notebook that's open for us. So I've got several notebooks that are already available here, and we've got Richard's notebook down the bottom. On the right hand side, right across the other side, we get to add a page. This is where we have one page already open and we can write whatever we need to write. Now you'll notice as I've typed that heading over here on the right hand side, that's become the heading of the page. So that's the first thing you will note. If you're using a computer that has a pen with it, then you can use a pen just to start writing. And really that's what OneNote's all about. Pick up a pen, we can start writing a note. Write whatever you want, draw a picture. Okay, so today what we want to do is get familiar with the work surface in OneNote. So on the top here, the top left hand side, we have a quick access toolbar. So we can customize this and change a few things around to suit ourselves. As you might notice, they're fairly close together. So if we tell it that we want to use touch, so everything opens up a little bit more, and also we can add a favorite pen so that wherever we're working, whatever we're doing, we can very, very quickly pick up a pen and use that to mark a page. Okay, so when we have a book open, across the top we have our chapters, and if we right click on that, we can actually rename this. We can add new chapters just by clicking on that if we need to. Each of these we can add pages to, and we can move very quickly from one back to the other. So when we go to our next area, our main menu area across here, we have File. Now in File, this is where we can control our notebooks, and we're able to start new ones, we're able to open them up, we're able to print these. We can print them to, I'll just show you that then, not just a printer. We can send them to our printer, to a PDF, or also an XPS document writer. So we've got a few options where we can actually send a page, a chapter, or a whole book. In our file section after that we have share, which is where we can actually share with other people, share a meeting or move a notebook. We'll look at all those later. We're able to export just a page, a section, or a notebook. We can send an email, we can send an attachment, we can send as a PDF, we can send it to Word as well, or we can send it to a blog if we're a blog writer. Then we have our account information, feedback information. Then we have an options section which is much more control area over what we're seeing, and we'll look at those in detail later. On our power band across the top, we have the author's name, happens to be me, and also the controls we make. So if we show the commands, it'll add everything that's in that section. Now what we'll do is we'll go through each of these and have a look at that. So in the home section, we have over 27 different tools available for us to use here, clipped into 5 or 6 areas. So we have our clipboard. Well, it works exactly the same as clipboard in Word. We have our basic text controls, which is could be very familiar for us if we use a computer on a usual basis. So we're able to fit headings, page titles, different sizes. We're able to add tags, which is a great section of OneNote. We'll have a look at that in detail in a further video. We email the page and also import meeting details from our Outlook calendar, all very important parts. In the insert part, we're able to insert space into a drawing by clicking on this. We're able to just move things around a little bit. We can add tables. We can print out a file. We can add file attachments. We can add an Excel spreadsheet into our area. We have a great option of screen clipping, add pictures from our files, add pictures from online, add videos from online, create a link between different areas of our files or web pages. We're able to record a audio or video and audio of perhaps a meeting where we're taking notes. We'll have a look at that in detail later. We add the time, date, and time and date. There it is there. It just came on the page after where that page 3 is written. To separate that so you can see it. We have page templates, which is a great area. We can make templates that suit ourselves. We have symbols and equations, and then also copy a page. The last one we'll look at is draw. Now in draw, we're able to pick up the type so that we can type, and then we can type onto a page. We have a lasso, eraser, 14 different pens that are already selected for us. We actually have vast amount of pens underneath that we can pick up and use for all different thicknesses, colours and shades. We can actually make our own colours then and the thickness of the pen we want to use. We're able to use our finger to mark on a page like this. That's my finger, not the pen. We can add shapes. If we pick up a shape, we can add that to a page. And just a quick clue, if you hold down the shift key, you'll always get a square or a circle. Or even on a triangle, will always be isometric, which is all sides the same. Okay, from here we're able to insert a space, delete, rearrange information, and we're able to rotate ink to text, which is very useful, then ink to math. We can go to review. From here we have a spelling tool, a research tool, helps us to explore other information, diaries, encyclopedias, etc. Thesaurus that helps us choose the right words. We can check accessibility. We can translate the information into another language. We can choose the language we want to work in. We can password protect one of these sections. Now, if you're sharing a book, password protection is a fantastic tool. We'll have a look at that later. We can link notes between other documents, PowerPoint presentations, or pages in the web. And once again, we can also copy a section or click and then clipboard and paste it to other areas. From our view tab, we're able to have a look at the different views available for us, and we can control the size of the page that we want to look at. We can also add color to a page, the colors like that. We can actually add rulings to a page. We have a fair selection of different boxes and shapes that we can add. We can hide the page title, which we can control the paper size and the margins, where how far away from the edge we automatically start printing when you press enter when you're using that. Zoom in, zoom out, fairly self-explanatory. The size of the zoom that we're looking at right now, our page width, and also then new windows and quick notes, and always on top. We'll look at that section later on. And finally we have our history. So in history we're able to mark an area as red. That has to do with our tags. Also recent edits, who's made a mark on a page, we find the author for that. We can hide the authors if we don't need to know who's doing things. Page version, so if we are having revisions of work areas, and also then we can look at that. And then also we have lastly our notebook or recycle bin. So first we'll look at the tabs. We have two tabs open on the top here, and we can click between those very quickly. If we right click, it changes, and then when we do left click, we get our information box where we can rename, export, delete, move or copy. We can add sections and the password protect and change color. So let's change the color very quickly. There you go. It's a nice green color. Just so we have a look at that section, we can change the name. We'll probably go user pages. It sounds like a good subject for our section, our chapter, and very quickly we can change pages. Just a quick note, remember we can change ink to text. Go to draw, ink to text, that quickly, done. So let's go back to our home tab. So if we want to go back to our demo page, we'll go through the clipboard. So clipboard works very similar to most other formats in the Microsoft Office, and we can just highlight over a box. And, we can then work with that area. We can cut it out, we can copy it, and we use the paint format, and I'll show you how to do that. So if we just cut it out, there it is. We'll go to our redo tool, put it back again. Of course, we can copy it and paste it to anywhere we need it on the page. So what about Format Painter? What does that do for us? Well, what we're able to do is select the text. We can use that text as a profile to change other text quickly as that. So we just highlighted the quick round box area and changed the profile very quickly. Okay, so let's have a look at our basic text controls. So within this area, we're actually able to select the type of text we want to use. So if we just drop down this area, there we go. We'll go the Arial Black and change this font size and just put in a little bit of writing down the bottom. Hello again. Okay, so just underneath that area, you can see there are other figures. We can do bold, italic, underline. So if we select underline, just do a little bit of typing, you can see it puts a line underneath it. We can do strike through, works the same. If you want to type something that's been corrected, easy to do. Now we're not limited to just black. We can change it to any color within the spectrum. We can make our own and or select from the beautiful array that are there. I thought too, very importantly in this section is the bullet points. So by picking bullet point, a spot on the page, you can just type a list of what you want, hit enter, and it just does another bullet point underneath it, add another one, and it's very easy to do, the bullet points. Sometimes we might like to do it with numbers, so we just go next to it here, we just pick a spot again on the page, select our numbering, bullet points, put in enter, there we go, just put in whatever the bullet point happens to be, hit the enter button, do it again, and there you go, we've got a bullet point list. So in our style section, if we want to have a look at, say, our heading over here, hello everyone, we can change that but just by selecting our styles, and it will change to whatever we select. Very helpful editing tool. We're going to look at tags, and tags is a very important section of OneNote, and using OneNote every day. So let's give ourselves a bit of room here, and we'll open up the tag section. We have quite a list, but let's just pick off to do, because that's probably the most popular. We just put down, say, job search, click enter, and it goes to the next item. We'll probably put another item in. We'll write down food to cook, and once again hit enter, and we get another item on our to-do list. Well, we can click these items off as they are done, and that's important to do because we'll have a look at our bind tag section in a second and see how that works. So let's have a look at our list. We have quite a list of items here that we can use. The tags are provided, but we can also customize a tag, and that's pretty important because sometimes we want to make a tag that suits our work, and we can highlight it, we can create our own symbol for it, and it ends up on the top of the list too. So when we click on Find Tags, we get to the tag summary. Well, we can check out the tags by name, but we can also get just a list of them, and that's important because then we can end up with a to-do list that we haven't completed. Once we have, even in this section, we can then click them off. And once you're using tags, pretty sure you'll use them all the time. So what about email a page? So we can just email the current page that we're working on to somebody who's already in our list. Well, that's easy to do just by clicking on email, It opens up a dialog box, and there it is. Very easy, and it'll populate from the people that we have already in our list. Let's go now to meeting details. So I've entered a meeting into my Outlook calendar. Now it's a great way to share information. When you're sharing a book, you can share the notes, and automatically that construction meeting is now part of this document. What we're going to do is get into insert. Now, insert is probably a very important part of OneNote. Firstly, let's insert a space. So by picking that up with our mouse, we can move onto the page. We just click, drag down, and we make some space. Now we can use that any time to create space, even between handwritten notes. And we'll just write this little bit of text in here, pick up our select tool, and create a little bit more space. Now it's important too to note that if you right click, draw a little box over it, you can move this anywhere you like on the page. Now you can't do that with written text on any other surface. And we have small menu boxes so we can do other activities with this. So let's just put that back where it's supposed to be. Okay, next is table. So we can add a table, and tables are very important. If you use Excel at all, then importing and exporting out of here is very easy. So once you open a table, look at the selection of work you have across the top. There's a whole heap of control boxes for adding columns and also adding rows. So we can easily change the size of these columns. And if we write into the first one, you just tab, get into the next, takes you straight into the next box. And we're using, obviously, it takes us back through the draw section because we're changing print, but we can change the print size and what we're looking at. Okay, so what about the next section is files and the file printout here. So what happens if we print it out, it takes us to our files, and we can add the whole file itself. It's just a matter of inserting it and then to take up whatever space that file is. Whereas a file attachment, if we go back to where we already were, we pick up this little MP4 video that we've made, add it in, and just in the middle here, we'll be able to attach that file. Here it comes. Right, that little builder's tech file there, and we're able to just see that. If we click on it, then it takes us straight to that file. Okay, so let's move into our spreadsheets. So a lot of us use Excel, and we can make our own Excel spreadsheet in OneNote, and then we can use that to export into Excel again, and it takes a couple of seconds to construct itself, but pretty much there it is. Okay, what about images? Adding images to our OneNote is a great way to add another dimension to our work. Illustrations and pictures are really good. So if we just take a screen clipping or something, we took that from something else and we just added it in here straight over the top. And there's instruction on how to do that in other videos. Now, pictures too is a very important part. We can pick a picture out of our files, our downloads of pictures, and add it in just like that one. Or we have the option to pick a picture online, something that's on the net. So what about videos? Yes, we can import a video. So a video address would come up there, and we're able to copy or paste one in as well. And we can add that to it, and it just adds a small highlight in an area that will show us that there's a video there. Links is very important too. Now, links creates a link between an area in our OneNote's books, or we can link to other web pages or files within our computer. So we can put a link in just like that one to another site. Now, recording. Recording is very important. Audio record, you can audio record, say a lecture, like I'm kind of doing, and as you take notes, it follows along the notes. Video is the same, so now you can use the camera. So Surface Pro, a lot of our computers have a small camera, so you can aim that at whatever you want to video, and once again, it records as you write notes. It keeps up with where the video is up to. Okay, so that covers recording. The next part is timestamp. So that's sometimes important, sometimes we take it off our thing, but we can just click down the spot here, we just go to date, it'll put it in there for us. Same with the time, put it in after it, or we can do both, date and time. Okay, so let's look at page templates. Now we can have a selection of different templates available for us. OneNote has a great selection of them. If you just click on the templates, it takes you through the last few that you've used, or you can actually open that up, and down the bottom it has page templates, and it can take us to a great heap of them. So we just clicked on what was already there. So in that templates section, we have My Templates, when you make your own, which is another video that we've done. There's one on how to do Cornell groups. And then the academic, we got blank, business, decorative, and other planners. So there's a whole heap that are already there, and like I said, you can make your own. So the last couple on here are equations. So if you're into maths and you can use OneNote for maths, have a look at what's written across the top now in our menu area, and you've got a great selection of tools available for us to use in maths. And this is obviously in a very high level of using OneNote. The last little section in this symbols area is symbols themselves, and there's a great selection of symbols. So if you're writing complicated physics or something like that, we've got all the symbols that are already here, plus you can make quite a few of your own. And the last one on this page in insert is copy. So once you've made something up like this, we can just highlight over the top of it. The copy page will highlight now. We can copy that. We'll go down to a existing page, one of these ones here. We'll just open it up, and we'll just paste that into here, and it should show up. There it is. Okay, so that untitled page, and see the page heading now is the same as the one we copied it from. The Draw tab. So this is where all our inking and pen typing is selected, and we're going to have a look at all the functions we can do today. So in the Tools section, first off, we're going to look at how to type. Well, it's fairly easy. Highlight a spot on the page, just write which it was here. And the size of that printing can be edited and changed, and you can have it stored in an area. And what we're going to do is have a look at our mini box today, mini control box. We'll just pick out a different font, different size, and it's that easy to change that. Okay, the next item on our Tools tab is the lasso select. So by using your mouse, you can right click on it and draw a circle around it, and that highlights that area. Now that becomes very useful if you've got a fair bit of information over a large area. You can actually pick up the lasso and pick up that whole area, boxes it for you, and then you have the option there to be able to move it, copy it, or delete it, just like that. The next part of our tools is eraser. Now we have a selection of different sizes. Perhaps what I should do is just pick up a pen, do a few marks on a page so I can demonstrate how the eraser works. Okay, so we have a small eraser, which is just a small box like that, and it just takes off a small amount, whereas we perhaps select a large one. You can see the box is bigger, and where you put it, it covers it up. Or you go to stroke. The stroke means it'll take off a constant amount of ink. So if you just keep drawing, it'll do that. Now in the pen section, we have 14 pens that are drawn there across for us to select, plus a selection of others that we'll look at in a second. So when you pick up a pen, you can just write with it quick as that. And some people complain about a bit of a lag, but I don't find it a problem at all. So you can just mark with whatever colour you like, use highlighters, just select them, put a line through it, and you can see through with a highlighter. It's the difference between selecting pens over highlighters. And we have our whole selection at the end here in the More section. Actually make colours up and change the colours around. Now it's very important for us too to be able to use this little item here, draw with touch. So that's my finger doing that now. I'm not using a mouse or a pen. I use a Surface Pro. And now we're going to look at shapes. Now in the shape section, you get able to pick up a shape. I'll just give you another idea too. If you hold the Shift key, you get squares or circles. So just by selecting the various ones there, you can see I've done some lines and circles and other shapes that are there. You do arrows and just L shapes, and it just moves it wherever you do select it. We also have some graphs that are available for us for those who need it for maths and physics. And then we can mark onto our plans those and documents those sort of shapes. We have a edit tab here where we can still do insert. If you've seen my other videos, you've seen how to do that in the insert box. And then you can, if you highlight an area like that, the rest of the edit box becomes live now. So we can delete areas and move things around and rearrange things. Now, arrange is really important because quite often we have writing and photos and things like that, and you can arrange it. So have a look at that area that I just highlighted, and we'll just swap that over by going to your arrange. We said bring to forward, and now the M shape is on front. Now send it to the back. Watch the area again. Now the writing's in front. So you can arrange the different levels of the writing you've put on, and then we have rotate, fairly simple and self-explanatory of rotate. Now convert is my favourite part of OneNote, one of it anyway. So let's just highlight the word part here, and we'll go into text. Simple as that. Now it'll do that quite accurately if your writing's okay. The last one is ink to math. So if we write that sum out, highlight the area, convert ink to math, ask if the question's right, we can preview it and then insert it. But also in OneNote is a really good calculator. So if we just add a line and we go type 1 + 2 equals and then push enter, and it'll do quite the same job as most calculators will do. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name's Richard Hill.